So let's go for 8. Let's see how we get on there. Hopefully it should improve the speed all around the track. The question is, can the rear tyres hack it? Now, we've currently got a best down to a 22.8, so if we can find a second on that, we'll top the leaderboard in time trial. So for now, it's finding that a little bit of fine tuning to allow us to really attack the track to get that final second. Okay, Pervitar, thank you very much for your help. Hope you enjoyed watching. Enjoy yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which doesn't leave a lot, really. Okay, now surprisingly, having lowered the rear aeros, the steering wheel is now feeling a little bit heavier, which could suggest more grip, which shouldn't make sense if you decrease your aerodynamics. But aerodynamics is all about balance, getting that balance right between front and rear. Too much curb there. Oh, too late. That's cost us a right big chunk of time. Well, that was going to be my my best lap. Annoyingly, I'd gone back to using first gear in the second to last hairpin. It was helping with the turning, so I thought, I'll try it on the final corner. It helped with the turning, but as soon as I went to second gear, she'd gone. So I think I'm going to have to go for first gear for the second to last hairpin and second gear for the final corner. But we definitely found a fairly decent chunk of time on that lap up until the spin. Now the car is obviously a little bit floatier on the rear end, but it is still drivable. I can be quite aggressive with it as long as really the right gear. It handles that corner quite comfortably in second gear. Oh, it's too wide. I was too late, well, too long off throttle then, waiting for the car to turn. Still too slow through the final corner. Went in a bit too deep. Right, bit of a cool down lap. Let all the temperatures calm down again, because if we have a look, the brake temperatures, well, they're not too high now because I've backed off. Let's see, front left temperature's not too bad on the tyre. Right front temperature is struggling a little bit. Left rear's not too bad. Right rear is struggling a bit. The temperatures aren't quite balanced out, but that's not surprising at the moment, given the nature of the camber settings that I've got on, and that most of the corners around here are right-handers. So all of the pressure, all of the work is going onto the left-hand tyres. There's an idea, something I haven't thought of trying before. I don't know if I particularly want to try it yet, but it is something that I could test, and that is having my current camber settings on the left hand side of the car and the standard camber settings on the right hand side of the car. Anyway, let's get rid of the telemetry screen because it puts me off. Let's see if we can go and do another lap. I mean, we're down to a 22.6 now, so another 7 tenths to find, and we can go and have a bash at topping the timing leaderboards. I do think there is potentially some lap time in my brakes at the moment, which we haven't looked at yet. probably should go back to doing that corner in second gear. I must have been struggling with it because I was pushing the car too far into the braking zone. That's why I was struggling with the turn in. Brakes hurting me there. Now with the slightly reduced brake ducts, the brakes are going to get to a higher temperature, which, as I said, if you are doing lap after lap after lap, it is going to hurt you in the long run, as it has done there for me. Okay, we'll cross the line and then I'm actually going to take a break for a moment. We'll have a look at the brakes. Well, one thing people may find is, one thing I find, and I hope other people do as well, when they're doing the practice like this and they've sort of got their setup finalised, they'll get their, like say, they'll do their personal best lap. And then if you stick with it, keep doing the laps, you may not match the lap, but if you actually look, when you were doing your practice, you may have struggled to get to a certain lap time, and your best is faster than it. So you sort of struggle to get to a lap time, you eventually get there, then you get to your best. Well, then when you're trying to beat your new best, if you actually look, you'll probably find that you are consistently beating the lap time that you previously couldn't get near. So that's something to just think about when you're going around. Right, let's have a catch up. Evening, Paul. How are you this evening? I don't know what I'll be doing in half an hour. I'm currently trying to set this car up to attack the time trial leaderboard around here. Brakes. That's what I was going to have a look at. Okay, the brake pressure is on 90%. It is locking up a little bit into the first corner, so I am going to reduce the brake pressure a little bit. It may hurt me, it may help me. There's only one way to find out. And what it may help with is being able to put a lap time in consistently for sort of 2 or 3 laps, rather than in 2 or 3 laps being too much brake temperature. Now, if you have gone a little bit more aggressive on your brake ducts, then it can be advisable, especially for time trial, well, not in time trial, but for practice, take it easy on your brakes on the out lap, because if you cook them before your hot lap, it's going to hurt you. The tyre temperature will come anyway, but it's the brakes can have a much more detrimental effect. If they're too hot, they're just not going to stop the car. And the downside to this game is it doesn't actually tell you what the ideal brake temperatures are for the cars. It would be nice if it did, because obviously the brake temperatures for this car would be different for the brake temperatures in the Formula A, and so on. Now, by reducing the brake pressure, it can make the cars much less twitchy in the braking zone, less chance of locking up, but it can make braking a little bit confusing for a while till you work out how much you can get on the pedal. So like there, use the same amount of braking, but because there's less pressure through it, it doesn't stop the car. So you have to be aware of that one for the next lap round. It ended up going a bit wider than I wanted. It's cost me a bit of time, and looking at the time has caused me to go off. So I brake a couple of meters sooner, no problem through the corners. Oh, too deep, not enough on the brakes that time. It can take you a while to get used to how much you need to brake or don't need to brake when you adjust the pressure. If you're on a controller, then it is much more... Oh, I would have guessed it may... Yeah, well, it's probably easier to adjust the brakes because obviously... excuse me. On a controller, you are less likely to graduate your braking than if you're on wheel with pedals. Okay, so I've just a bit of a cool off moment and we'll go for another lap. We're looking at the sector times. Yeah, I think we can definitely improve on those. Much better. I want to clip that apex curb. Oh, too much curb. Semi-wide. It's cost me, that is. I was up until then. Testing first gear around that final corner again, it's losing nearly half a second. And and 2 sideways. Right, okay, let's go and have a quick recap. AR Jazzy. What's my setup? I'm working on that at the moment, to be honest. Just working on little bits of it, getting myself up to speed to have a go at the time trial leaderboard. One of the downsides with this game is that there is so many different setup changes that you can make that it can take a long time to get a car absolutely spot on. I mean, I've made a brake pressure change there, and in some of the corners it worked perfectly for me, in others not so much. So I think I'm tempted to knock a little bit more brake pressure back on. Here's something else that we could do. So I'm going to go to 88, that's sort of halfway between where it was a standard. I don't really want to adjust the aerodynamics anymore on that at the moment, but I'm kind of thinking to myself about the tyre pressures and the tyre temperatures that we were running at. I may try that in a little while. And the ride height was feeling much better with the additional 2 on it. I'm just having a quick smoke while I have a look through these and have a think. I think I shall leave the sway bars as they are at the moment. I wouldn't say I'm really struggling with oversteer or understeer. It is, or at least the way it feels to me at the moment, it is the brakes that I'm losing more time on. Okay, so that's quite low. Now the brake mapping is something I haven't really played about with much. Now, it's on 3 as standard, so let's just see what it's like on 5. Paul, tonight I don't know, mate. I've not had anything to eat yet. So at some point I will be stopping to get myself some food after that. I don't know, I might be, because I know my brother, he's online, said his mate's going to be online, so we might be, I just don't know yet. As for what wheel do I use, I'm currently using the Thrustmaster T300. That's something I wanted to ask you, Paul, actually, because you'd mentioned to me about you're looking at a Thrustmaster T300. Are you looking at wanting to use a clutch pedal? Because if you are, what you want to look at is the Thrustmaster T3PA Pro pedal set. That's the uprated pedal set that I mentioned to you, which does have a clutch pedal. If you're not bothered about a clutch pedal, they're still a better set of pedals than the standard ones, but you also can get a wide brake pedal, so you can screw it onto the brake and clutch and use one big pedal, pressing both as your brake pedal. Okay, so what I'm going to try now is just seeing what this brake mapping adjustment I'm going to have a look at this brake mapping adjustment, And then what I'm going to do, because my tyre temperatures are different from left to right, given the camber angle that I'm using, I'm probably going to have a look at adjusting the tyre pressure right side to left side. But I just want to see what this this brake mapping adjustment is going to make. Now it says move it one way helps you in slow corners, move it the other. There's more chance of locking the rear under aggressive braking. Now it was to the left where it was more chance of locking under aggressive braking. So what I want to know is whether with it set on 5 I can get around the slow corners at a decent speed, and whether under heavy braking it's going to stop the little bit of locking up that I've been having. Now I am smoking while I'm on this out lap, but I will put it down before I start the hot lap. I wouldn't advise smoking, it is bad for your health. It's not sexy, it's not cool, regardless of what James Dean may have thought. Saying that, most people who play on a PS4 probably have no idea who James Dean actually is. Right, I'm going to be really aggressive on the brakes here. Now, I was late and aggressive, but I just wanted to see if it was going to lock up the rears, which it didn't seem to do there. But I wanted to do it there before I do it into the into the first corner, so I have an idea of how the car's actually going to handle heading into turn 1. Now, I'm not going to try braking late, I am just going to try driving how I had been doing. Well, there is still a little bit of brake lock in there, but it's controllable. So let's see how it handles the slower corners at speed later on in the lap. Too much curb. Seem to feel a little better into that corner, but setup changes can be deceptive because it's very difficult to do exact lap after exact lap. That's why a lot of the setup changes I tend to make, I judge them on how it feels for me through the wheel. That's where a lot of my setup changes are confirmed or not, how it feels rather than on lap time. Because basically if it feels right, the lap time will come, hopefully. Oh, a little twitchy through the middle of the apex. And that little twitchy through the middle of turn 1 is what's cost us the 10th of a second. It's going wide. Didn't break enough there. It doesn't help when I've got a piece of food I've just stuck between my teeth that I'm trying to pick while I'm doing 120 round corners. Okay, let's focus. Focus, boy. Too much throttle with too much steering on there. It's going to cost us down the straight, which is going to cost us over the whole lap. Too slow through turn 1. That's going to be at least 2-3 tenths down before, well, by the end of sector 1. clip the curb. Well, nearly 2/10. I'm kind of finding myself having gone into pushing mode, and if you're really pushing, that's when your lap times don't really tend to come. If you're pushing hard, it's when mistakes tend to happen. Slower to go faster. Because what you tend to find is the harder you push, the later you brake. The later you brake, the slower you actually go through a corner, because you're not on the correct line. Let's try and settle down a bit. Brake temperatures aren't too bad. Tyre temperatures weren't too bad, but that front right is definitely too cold. I was just having a look there to see what the brake temperatures were, to see whether the mid-corner wiggle was from the brakes being perhaps too hot on the front compared to the rear. But I think it was just a bit of bad driving. That's a better line. Early on the power, graduate it on. Okay, it's a good run to turn one. Let's try and get turn one right. It's going to go wide. Ooh, just kept it on. Too late braking there, too long off the throttle. Too late, too late. Had to be longer on the brakes to get it slowed down. Was slow through the corner. We may have got away with it. Okay, so that's a new personal best. So we're now only 4/10 away from excuse me, from the fastest lap. So if you were to go on timing, then that brake adjustment that we've just made has helped. So I'm not going to adjust that anymore. I'm going to leave that as it is. I want to focus on the tyre temperatures from the front right and the front left, because the front right is not getting worked anywhere near as much. So I want to see if reducing the front right's tyre pressure by just 0.10, I'm going to reduce the rear right's tyre pressure as well by 0.10. See whether that's going to help with the temperatures and help us when we come to the 1 or 2 left-hand corners that we have on the track. Okay, need a smoke for those. I always need a smoke. This steering wheel have a force feedback. Yes, the Thrustmaster T300 does have force feedback. It has a very good force feedback system, although there is a few bugs with Project Cars at the moment where force feedback does keep dropping out, and it's very frustrating when it does that. But I do know, or at least I did hear, that in the new patch excuse me, that's coming in a couple of weeks, that is one of the things that they are meant to be looking at, because there have been quite a few issues with wheels on the PS4 on Project Cars, but at least they are aware of them and are trying to fix them. Okay, so Steve there saying multiplayer at 8. What's the time now? Bloody hell, it is 8. But I haven't finished doing my time trial thing yet. I've only got 4 attempts to find to actually go and try and top the timing screen. I think what I'm going to do, depending on how this last change feels, I'm going to go for it, because usually there is a little bit of extra lap time in time trial. Well, depending on the circuit. Also, one of the downsides to time trial is, especially on this view around this track, is where the sun can be placed. It can't half blind you at times. Okay, get in there, get in. Nice apex. Perhaps not as fast as it could be taken, but DRS open. No, I've been closing DRS for that left-hander every single time, and the one time that I get put off was Steve texting me, "You pain in the arse." I forgot to close it. I'm guessing it was Steve that texted me anyway. I heard my phone go off. Alright, see if we can get a semi-hot lap in. I carried more speed through turn 1 that time, but I was later opening the DRS. Oh, too much curb, you swine. Right, okay. Given the time constraints that have been set now, I'm going to leave the setup as it is, and I'm just going to go into time trial and see what we can do. Right, let's have a quick catch. Tough, you've got 2 minutes. Ow. Yeah, I'm going to save the setup to that track, go into time trial, do a handful of laps. So Steve, Paul, you are going to have to wait for me, I'm afraid. You do some races while you wait for me, but I just want to see what we can get on time trial. So I'm going to go into edit current setup. I'm going to save it. I'm not going to save it to all the tracks. I want to save it to just Donington, because the car setups are going to be different from track to track. So save it to Donington Park. I mean, one of the things I would say is, if you do find a car setup that you like, then by all means stick it on the car for all of the tracks, and then go and adjust it as per when you go on that track. Okay, so the whole reason that I'm doing this particular live stream is to have a bash at the top of the leaderboard. I will admit I don't think the car's perfect yet by a long shot, but I've been given a time limit now, so we'll just see what we can get with how the car is. If we don't top it, then you can guarantee that tomorrow I'm going to be back on working a bit more on the setup and smashing the lap time. I mean, looking at it so far, if I put in my current PB, I'll be third on the list, which wouldn't be too bad. Now I'm going to put okay, current and session. Go on then, we'll do current and session. Now this first lap's not going to be particularly quick because of the slow exit out of that corner, but I was playing about with the timing up in the top right. Oh, it's got a bit twitchy under braking then. Controlled it though. Bit slower through there than I wanted to be. Quite a slow lap that, but it's something to work on. Now, because of the line that I took down into turn 1, it means that this isn't a hot lap. What I tend to do in time trial is, if I'm going to do lap after lap after lap, do hot lap, cool down lap, hot lap, cool down lap, and so on. Especially around here, because the fastest way to the start finish is on the right hand side of the track. Ooh, DRS open. A little too soon. Okay, let's see what we can do then. Oh, it's got sideways. That's not going to be very fast. It's not. We're already a 10th down. It's a poor lap. So I shall go for a flyer after this one. I was just about to say the car is feeling a little bit more twitchy in here, and then I get way too much on the curb. Now, I'm not going to be doing too many laps at this because I have now been sent race requests, which I will join shortly. Too wide, DRS, that little slight twitch, and then with the DRS open, right, okay. Well, I know that it's there to be beaten, but seeing as I am getting harassed, let's see how many text messages Steve has sent me. 142! Oh, I'm only joking. He actually sent me none. Oh. Okay. Well, we'll have a look at where that puts me. I think it puts me about third with a 122.4. But I do know if I was to sit here and do another 20-30 laps, that lap time is there easily. Yeah, 122.4 puts me third or fourth. So I'm going to say tomorrow, as long as I don't end up being busy, I'm going to come back with that Mercedes to Donington Park and smash that lap time. I'm going to predict a lap time as well. Let's see if I can predict a lap time. I'm going to get to 121.5. So I'm going to go for a second off the lap time that I've just done. But, I mean, in time trial, I mean, how many laps did I do there? 4, 5? It takes more than four or 5 laps in time trial to get the lap in. Mainly because it takes 2 or 3, 4, 5 laps just to work out how the track conditions are different in time trial, excuse me, to practice mode. There is a difference. I mean, really, what I should have done is checked what the weather setting was for, and set practice exactly the same. If I'd have thought of about that beforehand, that's exactly what I would have done. So anyway, tomorrow, that's my challenge. I will be on live streaming at some point to smash that particular time. Evening. Oh, that's the party I've joined. I thought I'd joined the someone's watching my live stream that's in the chat. Alright, I could hear it. Right, just bear with me a second. Hello. I don't like hearing myself. I just have to start whistling.
Did you take a second off your live time? There we go.
Off the time trial time, no, that's what I'll do tomorrow. I'm going to take a second off it, I reckon. I mean, it's one of those things, if you're watching the live, people are watching the live stream now, I did say that when you do bad laps, you tend to find that the laps you do were faster than laps you were struggling to get to. So that, for me then, it was a fairly poor lap, but it was a 22.4, which was only 1/10 slower than what I did in practice. So to be disappointed with a lap that was 1/10 off my personal best may seem ridiculous, but in actual fact there's good reason to be disappointed with it, because if it feels like a bad lap, then you've every right to be disappointed with it.
Dave,
yes,
could you try and add Paul WKD?
I have.
He won't let me find him.
I've just accepted his friend request. You need to send me another invite into the lobby though.
We haven't set the lobby up yet.
Oh right, you donut.
I wondered if you would like to do the lobby, or whether you'd like to let me do the lobby.
You can do the lobby if you like.
Okay.
Now, I could do with working out how to change the title of my live stream. Let's have a look here.
Wanker wax a lot.
I think what I might do actually, I'm going to stop this stream, seeing as it was titled as the time trial one. I'll start up a new live stream, so if you are watching and you want to carry on watching and watch us have a few races, I ain't going to take it too serious, but I'm still going to try and fucking win. Hey Jim, did Steve tell you about last night? No, do you want to tell him, Steve?
Well, I've forgotten my memories.
Oh, you forgot it. Your memory's that bad that I beat you in a season on FUT.
I couldn't get on.
But
Station went down.
oh, well, I struggled.
Yeah, we had that problem, but then it came back again.
Oh,
Yeah.
went dead.
I thought so. Right, okay, so if you are watching the live stream, I am going to close this one down, seeing it was the time trial one. So if you do want to continue watching, feel free to watch the next live stream, which is about to come up in about 2 minutes' time. I've been from Racing DP, otherwise known as David. I will see you tomorrow for smashing that time trial time.